Isang magandang hapon, Pilipinas, at welcome sa another episode ng Spin Zoom In. It's your Thursday habit. At meron po tayong bisita ngayon. Mamaya kausapin natin, pero introduce ko muna po sarili ko. I'm Ruben Terrado, your host, sitting in for our regular host, si Carlos Ramos and Snow Badwa na medyo busy pa ngayon. Pero babalik po sila sa Tuesday for our POB. Pero ako na po muna ang mag-host for this edition of Spin Zoom In. Pabatiin po muna natin yung ating mga kasama rito sa panel. Unahin muna natin siguro si Kate Reyes. Kate, good afternoon sa iyo at kumusta ka naman?
Hello, Sir Ben. Nagbabalik. Second time pa lang.
Oo nga.
Kaka-excite tong episode na to. Let's go.
Oo, kaya ka namin pinabalik dahil maganda yung debut mo sa Spin Zoom In last week. At next naman natin pabatiin si Randolph Leongson na ating Gilas beat writer. Dolph, kumusta ka?
Good afternoon, Sir Ben, and good afternoon to all our viewers na I think nasa middle ng kanilang novena dito sa ating guest na tinatawag nilang Saint Dwight. So, hindi na natin patatagalin to and sali lang kayo sa kwentuhan natin sa Facebook Live. Susubukan nating basahin yan mamaya.
Kung may katanungan po kayo, punta lang po kayo sa ating chat box at lagay nyo lang po yung inyong questions and maybe greetings. Mamaya, re-recognize namin yan. Ang pabati naman natin next, si Sir Jerry Ramos. Sir Jer, kumusta ka?
Hi, good afternoon. Ito, guest natin, sabi nila, brother from another planet. parehong surname no? Pero lamang na lamang to sa akin ng ang daming paligo.
si Joseph.
Ay, lamang na lamang naman ako doon.
Ayun.
Si Lily. Lily Ramos.
Lahat ng viewers, alam ko you'll enjoy today's show kaya simulan na natin agad to.
Bago natin simulan, yun nga, yung biggest natin bukod sa magaling mag-basketball, napakagandang lalaki nitong ating bisita, no? At basta mga Ramos, pogi. Anyway, si Sir Dodo naman, ang ating editor-in-chief. Sir Dodo, kumusta ka?
Hi. Good afternoon. Actually, kaya wala si Snow Badwa ngayon kasi si Snow, gusto niya pag Zoom POB, gusto niya siya pinaka-pogi pero siya ngayon, hindi siya nakakasigurado ngayon kaya wala si Snow. But I'm sure this will be an entertaining and fun 2 hours for us. And I hope it would be too for our guests.
Again, for our viewers and readers, if you have a question to our guest, punta lang po kayo sa ating comment section and mamaya babasahin po natin. Anyway, introduce na natin yung ating guest. No? Of course, he made really a big name for himself during the FIBA Asia Cup. Medyo hindi lang pinalad na may na-miss siya sa FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament, but nevertheless, talagang he's really a rising star. Actually, he's parang star na nga din, Philippine basketball. And he's making a name for himself. Ang nakakatuwa pa doon, hindi pa siya nakakalaro talaga ng isang game for his mother team sa UAP. So ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our guest for today, Mr. Dwight Ramos. Dwight, good afternoon to you and welcome to Spin.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Dwight, first of all, how are you doing there? We heard that you're in quarantine right now, so what's keeping you busy?
Just doing some workouts here, little workouts, pretty much just relaxing really. There's not really much we can do in the room, so we're just waiting it out, the whole quarantine.
Dwight, before we turn it over to our panel, just one question from my end. How would you sum up your experience playing in the FIBA Asia Cup and then going with the team in Belgrade? How's that experience?
I think it was really like a lot of learning, even in the wins, the losses, like we really learned like kind of the pace of the game and everything and what we need to improve on. And sort of just how we can take the and make our training even better, so it's like more game like, because obviously we were just practicing and we were thinking this is how we're practicing at a good speed. But then as soon as we get to the games, it's just a different level. So I think we just learned a lot from that.
All right. So to our viewers, if you have questions for Dwight, just go to our comment section and lagay lang po kayo ng inyong comments and questions. But right now, let's turn it over to Randolph Leongson, our Gilas beat writer. Randolph, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Sir Ben. Dwight, I think I'd like to address the elephant in the room, and one of the most asked about questions na we have in our current live stream. Actually, one of the viewers are asking, Easy Dale Kaga Silanga is asking about your progress. Obviously, you got sidetracked in Belgrade OKT and you were ruled out for Gilas. But what's the status of your groin injury now, and how's your recovery in a way?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks already since the last Korea game. That's where I heard it, but it's been a couple weeks already, and I've sort of just rested and done rehab exercises with Coach Dex, our PT. So it's in good shape now. I should be ready for the next bubble already coming whenever it comes pretty soon, and so I should be good to go really.
How did you hurt it, Dwight?
In the first Korea game, I actually felt something, but I just thought I was sore. It's just soreness. But then in the second game, I just jumped and I felt something. I felt something in my leg, and I just knew like. But there was only like 3 minutes left, so I just finished the game out, and then that night I started feeling it. It was just really giving me trouble.
Yeah,
So
second
you
game, you basically just played through it, no?
Yeah.
I think it also trickled down to the second Korea games, right? Because Dwight also played against Indonesia and he just dealt with it. But to my next question, Dwight, obviously that groin injury sidelined you for the Belgrade OKT, robbing you of a chance to face against the likes of Milos Teodosic of Serbia and Dominican Republic. How frustrating was that for you to sit there and see the rest of the team fighting, being that close and even taking the lead against Serbia at least?
Yeah, it was really frustrating for me. I mean, going there and then like even when they're in the practice, they're just practicing, getting ready for the games. I was already feeling like I wish I just could be out there playing with them. But then during the games, so, I really believe in them and how they play. So with or without me, I knew they were going to play hard and give them a good fight. So just watching, I was really excited for them, and they made the game really close and they had a chance to win it. And so I was just happy to be there watching it courtside. I got courtside seats, so that was the good part about it.
But yeah, Dwight, obviously, since even though you weren't able to play, what can you say would be personally your biggest learning from that stint, watching your peers, watching them compete against some of the best teams in the world?
Yeah, I think I just saw that the pace and the difference in speed of the game and just physicality. I think the way we practiced, we sort of thought we were in good shape, like we were doing things the right way. But once we started playing, I saw them playing at that level, and it kind of shocked them a little bit. So I knew that I'm just knowing that the next time when we come into that situation, we need to be a little bit better prepared. And so I think we should take these things that we learned into our training and hopefully it'll make us better in that way.
Right. That's Dwight Ramos, our guest for today's Spin Zoom In. Punta naman tayo kay Sir Jerry Ramos for the next set of questions. Sir Jerry.
Hi, Dwight. Dwight, where did your family came from here in the Philippines? Are you Ilocano?
Yeah, my dad's from Ilocos Sur.
Yeah, okay. Most Ramos clan usually comes from the northern part of the Philippines. No? It's good to hear that somehow you're also an Ilocano. Anyway, Dwight, how's the although you didn't get to play in the OQT, how's the experience of being there early in your career with Gilas Pilipinas?
Yeah, those are watching those guys play against, these are people that we kind of idolize. We watch them all the time, like on social media and on YouTube and stuff, just watching their highlights. So seeing them in person is like, you kind of get starstruck a little bit, but you really watch them closely and you get to learn. And I just wish like I could have played against some of those guys, but I sort of just watched how my teammates played against them, and I just had to make the best of what it was.
Yeah. Were with you with Boban when he made the Uso sign?
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. Only I don't know.
You can do it, huh?
Not even close.
Yeah?
Mine was the McDonald's. I couldn't make the heart.
How's Boban in person?
Oh, he's so nice. Like, he's a really nice dude. Like, people, I really didn't expect it. Like, you're in the NBA, but he's someone that, like, we dropped the towels as we were walking out of the gym, and he picked it up for us. Like, he was just so friendly. It's something like, it makes you like, it feels good just to be around him.
Mm-hmm. One more question, Dwight. Your thoughts about being considered now as a star player here in the Philippines, despite you being new with the national team and haven't played yet for Ateneo in the UAAP?
It's still early. I mean, I played 6 games. It's just the qualifying games, and so I wasn't able to play the OQTs and against really tough competition. So I think it's a little early to call me a star or something. So I still think I have a lot to prove, and with the Asia Cup coming up, hopefully I have more of a chance to just prove myself out there and show our team that we're one of the top teams in Asia.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. Ben.
All right, let's go to our viewers' questions here on Facebook. Dwight, no? We have a question here from RC Alejandria Bautista. Hi, Dwight. You played US high school and college hoops. Were you able to play against the likes of Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, John Collins, Bam Adebayo, and how was it? How did it help your development as a basketball player?
Yeah, I remember I played against a couple of them in high school tournaments and stuff. And at that time when you're in high school, it's kind of a different level. And so the gap between everybody was, it's kind of big in high school. So those guys are at a really high level, and everyone else is still at the high school level, the regular high school kids level. So it was just the experience of like playing against those guys. And of course they're a little more accelerated than me. So I just knew that my path might take a little bit longer, but I just got to keep improving, and I learned from playing against them.
Dwight, you really played well in the FIBA Asia Cup. We have a question here from Francis Jello Ann. How did the FIBA Asia Cup 2021 qualifiers experience change you as a person and as a player?
I think it gave me a lot of confidence as a player. I throughout my college experience, I haven't played that much. I didn't really get an opportunity to play my game really, and so coming to the Philippines, my coaches, my teammates really believed in me, and I think it just gave me a lot of confidence to go out there and play how I play. So I think that's just what it showed on the court.
We have a question on Facebook from Maki Istal. While you were sidelined during the OQT, who impressed you the most from your teammates? He mentioned Heading and Navarro played superb, but do you have any other names that players, your teammates, that may have impressed you the most during the OQT?
I wouldn't say there's anyone in particular. I just really saw that in that first game against Serbia that they were probably, a lot of people were saying that they were outmatched, and it might have been true, but they really fought out there, and they made it a game, and they put themselves in a position to win, and I really believed that they were going to win that game. Just a little that's just a couple more shots at the end of the game went in, and I think it might have been a different result. And so the whole team really surprised me. It wasn't just one particular player. The team actually surprised me even though I beat them, they surprised me with that game too.
Right. And before we turn it over to Kate, we have a question from YouTube, CrossCourt TV. What's your thoughts, Dwight? If you'd played the game versus Serbia or Dominican Republic, you'd think we could have won any of those games if you were there, Dwight?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I mean, I like to believe so, but they didn't have their players. I know that a couple of their players sat out, a lot of their players, and I like to believe that maybe I could have made a difference, but you really just never know. With their players, the game could have been completely different. Better or worse, you never know.
All right, let's turn it over to Kate Reyes for the next set of questions. Kate?
Dwight, so I remember talking to you during your first practice in Moro Lorenzo Gym in February 2020, I think. And you've been saying that this stint with Gilas will be your biggest accomplishment yet in your career. Because you said that you'll be playing for millions of Filipinos. But now, having introduced yourself out there, making quite an impression, even to the international coaches, how hopeful are you that there's a bigger world out there for you to play?
I don't know. Playing for the Philippines is playing for one of the biggest crowds in the world already. So, how many fans in the Philippines. So it's really an honor to play for them. But with those 6 games in the qualifiers, it gave me confidence, and I'm hopefully I can play keep on playing for internationally and making a bigger name for the country as we play on.
Okay. Well, when you first put on that Gilas Pilipinas jersey, how does it feel during your first game?
Oh, that was the first game against Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that one I remember being super excited. I was nervous playing, and of course, I didn't want to go out there and look bad, so I tried my best to just do the right thing, stay disciplined, and not really let my nerves get to me, So that's just how it felt.
Okay. Ito throwback rin. Coach Tab has long been recruiting you since out of your high school, right? But you took some time on your decision to go to the Philippines and play. So after what went down with Gilas and your performance with Gilas, can you say that you made the right decision to go to the Philippines?
Yes, I definitely made the right decision. Because I got to experience what I wanted to when I played in the States, and so when I came here, I already had that experience that I wanted, and I used that coming here and giving me confidence playing in the Philippines. And so I really think I made the right decision, and with everybody believing me, from my teammates and my coaches, I think it's really the right place for me here.
Okay. Initially, you said that you just joined your brother Eli because he's moving to the Philippines. So how has it been for both of you, your adjustment in the culture? How welcoming are the people?
Oh, the adjustment was super easy. When we came to Ateneo, the team was like, we just came there to visit 1-2 practices, and we already felt as like we were part of the team. And so when we came here officially, it was just super easy to integrate ourselves into the school and into the team. And I walk around school and like everybody's super friendly with it. Our teammates are super friendly to us, and like it was really easy integrating ourselves into Ateneo and the Philippines in general.
Okay, thanks, Dwight. Boss.
Dwight, in so short a time, suddenly you turn from someone that majority of the population do not know, and now you're considered the foundational piece of Gilas Pilipinas. How have you been taking it? How have you been taking everything for someone so young and like you?
I think this is just something I've dreamed of for a long time. Since my younger days, I've been practicing, I've been improving just so I could get to the place I am now. And so I think with all that work, it put me in the position I am today, and I'm just really grateful for everything that's happened to me. And so when people say that I'm a foundational piece and stuff, I just think that I'm just thankful for everything that's happened for me, and so put me into this position I am today.
And I think one thing that really impresses Filipino basketball fans about you is that you're so mature out there. They see you and they think you're very calm out there. There are not much frills about your game, yet you're very solid out there. How did you end up being that kind of a player?
Well, growing up, that's kind of like how my coaches taught me how to play the game. Like they wouldn't all this crossovers, all the flashy stuff. That's really not really how they wanted us to play. And so I learned kind of how to play fundamental basketball and staying calm and stuff. That's just kind of how I am. Like you make a three, some people have all these celebrations, but
Yes.
for me, that's what a basketball player does. I don't need to celebrate about that. When you make a shot, that's what a basketball player is supposed to do.
Really? Wow. So if you have if you're like that, who would you consider your biggest influences when it comes to basketball?
I think I've just taken a little bit from everywhere I've been. I went to two different high schools, two different universities in the States, and then now in Ateneo. I think I've just taken little bits and pieces, and it's just kind of formed me into the player I am today.
Wow. And I'm sure Tab is now one of the most influential persons when it comes to your career. And it's no secret that he was already after you even when you were a high school player, right?
Yep.
And obviously he's right, no? Obviously Tab is right. So how do you take that, knowing how how high Coach Tab Baldwin is on you?
Yeah, I'm super thankful for Coach Tab. He believed in me since I was a high school kid, and I didn't accept his offer at the time, and when I wanted to come, he still accepted me, welcomed me here to Ateneo, and then he's coached me. He's given me so many tips, and he's really leveled up my game, and I'm just super thankful for Coach Tab. He's really taken me to another level, and he's really preparing me for my future, and I'm just really grateful for him and his belief in me.
Yes, that's a good story. Right, yeah. Good luck.
Alright, kasama po natin si Dwight Ramos ng Gilas Pilipinas and ng Ateneo Blue Eagles. Pag may tanong po kayo dyan, lagay nyo lang po sa comment section. Alam ko may maraming tanong dito eh. May isang tema yung mga tanong dito eh. Mamaya na natin itatanong guys. Mamaya na natin itatanong yan. But Dwight, going back to Coach Tab, and Coach Tab has been saying that he's really high on you and he wants you to play point guard. So when Coach Tab told you about that, how did you took it, that role of playing the point guard position?
Anything that Coach Tab tells me, usually I'll take it. I take it directly. I know he wants what's best for me, and I agree with him playing point guard, and it's still something I have to adjust to. I'm not very comfortable yet, but if he believes that I can do it, then I believe I can do it too.
Yeah. But what did you do to adjust well to that position? What in the bubble? What were you doing in order to be good at it, playing the point guard position?
It's sort of just taking the ball up the court, calling the plays, and kind of keeping my five as a unit. And so I think that's just something I need to work on a little bit better. My ball skills also, I can see that's something I learned from watching the OQTs. Maybe my ball skills are not as up to that level yet. So I know if I want to play point guard at that level, I still have a lot to improve on.
Ooh.
Is there a little regret, Dwight, that you weren't able to play in the OQT and you could have played against the likes of Teodosic? Maybe you could have learned something from him.
Yeah, definitely. I really wish I could have played, but I'll just have to watch the film and all over again. And the best I can do is just watch from the sideline and rewatch the film and see what I could have done.
But Dwight, how serious was that injury of yours? Could you give us an idea, or were you able to walk or something like that?
In the beginning days, like right after right after I heard it, it was kind of hard to walk and just to open my legs, it was pretty difficult just to do that. So, and then being cramped on the plane, it kind of didn't really help too much with that. So it took a little longer than I expected, and I think we were hoping that it would be fine for the OQTs, but I just wasn't there yet at that time. If maybe it was a week later, maybe I could have played, but I just wasn't there yet.
Let's go to the questions on YouTube. Mike Joust, you mentioned about Coach Tab on the court, but what have you learned from Coach Tab off the court?
Yeah, Coach Tab gives us a lot of lessons in everything we do. All his speeches, he motivates us in a way that, like, it's not the usual motivational speakers. You know, sometimes they're really yelling, they're really loud. But Coach Tab gives you these open-ended questions that makes you really, really think. And so he really motivates us, and it gives us lessons that, during his speeches, and I really pay attention to everything he says.
Right, and RC Bautista also asking here from our Facebook page, growing up in Southern California, did you play another sport aside from basketball? What teams did you support? You mentioned about UCLA or USC, Dodgers or Angels, Lakers or Clippers. Dwight, what's...
I was Lakers for sure.
Right.
I played football, American football.
You were what? What position did you play? American football.
I played tight end and defensive end. Both of those. So yeah, I liked watching the Super Bowl. I would say I was more USC than UCLA. I had one of my friends plays for the USC football team, and so I was also a supporter of his team. And then probably the Dodgers. I've been to a couple of Dodgers games. They're really crazy fans, so it was a really fun experience. That's why I'd rather go with the Dodgers than the Angels.
Dwight, Suns or Bucks? Who are you picking?
I got the Suns because
right.
I like Devin Booker and how he plays, so I'm hoping for the Suns.
All right. Okay, let's go to Randall for the next set of questions.
Dwight, for the past few months, or maybe weeks, the trend has been Gilas players in the current pool are heading overseas. It was started by 30 last year, and then the GDL brothers have signed in Japan now. And I think this is one of the most asked about queries from our fans. Are there any offers for you to play overseas, considering that you have yet to play one game for the Ateneo Blue Eagles?
I'm actually not too sure about that. My agent PJ, he's the one that's in contact with other teams and stuff, and so he knows more about that than I do. For me, I'm just focused on what's in front of me. So I'm really thinking about the Asia Cup and Gilas. That's kind of on my mind. And if whatever's in front of me, if an offer comes in front of me, that's when I'll believe it. But any other than any just talk is just really rumors for me until I see something in front of me.
Because we've heard a lot of coaches saying that you're already prepared for the pros. Some of them are even saying in one Zoom interview we've had with Coach Norman, he said that had you joined the PBA draft, you'll definitely be the number one pick. But where are those plans on your cup board today? Obviously, the focus is with the national team, but where do those priorities lie, especially counting the still upcoming UAAP stint that you still are yet to do?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, not knowing when the next UAP season is going to be, and so I'm just kind of taking everything as it comes. When one tournament
Nakahambag eh.
Alright, medyo we're having some technical difficulties with Dwight Ramos. Pero yan na po, sinasagot na po ni Dwight yung $1,000,000 question. Ayun, okay na ata si Dwight.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Dwight, yeah.
I think that the internet was kind of bad there.
You were saying, Dwight?
What was the question again?
I got lost too.
About
Can you repeat the question,
future
Don?
plans, just the plans, Dwight, about having this number of options, maybe the PBA, overseas offers, or still staying in UAAP. Where does everything lie for you at this point?
I think it's kind of hard to say because I don't know when the next UAP season is going to be, and I'm not really looking elsewhere right now. I'm kind of focused on what's in front of me with the Asia Cup, and so I think after the Asia Cup, maybe I'll have a different idea as to see what's next. I always just take it one step at a time, and I think the next step for me is still the Asia Cup, and then I'll just have to see what happens after that.
My last question on this turn, Dwight. Obviously, back in February 2020, you were able to play your first game for Gilas, and some of the players there are absent in the next two windows, especially a guy named 30 Ravenna. Coach Tab has already floated the idea of him being included to the pool. How excited are you in having that chance to team up with 30 again? Hopefully in the FIBA Asia Cup in Indonesia.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play with 30. I only got to play with him that one time. I remember the old days play against him at the Ateneo practices. So I'm really excited to play with him with his experience overseas and playing in Japan, and just playing with him and his more experienced self. And I think it'll be really exciting to play with him.
All right, it's gonna be a strong backward for us if that happens.
Definitely.
Go, Sir Ben.
All right, yun, nasagot na ni Dwight yung mga gustong marinig ng ating mga viewers. Pero punta muna tayo kay Sir Jerry for the next set of questions.
Yes, Dwight, just your thoughts that a lot of players and coaches are saying you're already too good to play in the UAAP and just go pro and play elsewhere, no? Either the PBA or the overseas leagues. Just your thoughts about it.
I think it's kind of funny when people say that, but I'm still in college. I'm still trying to get my education, and so I just take it as a compliment that people are saying that, but I'm still just a college kid, really.
What course are you taking at Ateneo?
Management, BS management.
Okay. Who's your closest friends in Ateneo or even in Gilas?
In Gilas is the Nieto brothers for sure, and Ateneo, I haven't really been with the Ateneo guys in a long time. It's been so long, so. But I remember back in the days, it was just me and my brother really, walking to practice, going back to the condo. He's probably my closest.
There's one question from Beverly Bucana. Why did you choose Ateneo among the schools here in the Philippines?
Well, I knew Coach Tab since high school, and so if he still took me after that, I knew like he really believed in me. Even after 3 years, he still took me in. And that's really the only school that I heard from, and so I went with Ateneo. It was Ateneo or nothing, really. Not my choice.
How's Dwight as a person?
I don't know how to answer that. I'm just just a chill, regular guy.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Dwight, you earlier said that you speak just a little Tagalog or Filipino, but one of our viewers are requesting you to say lalaban para sa bayan, puso.
Lalaban para sa bayan, puso.
Okay.
Good!
Yes.
Yeah.
Masyado na.
Yeah. That's from Beverly Bucana. Okay.
Beverly, napagbigyan ka na namin, ha?
Makakauna sa Filipino classes. So, pwede na.
No, pasado.
But Dwight,
Okay.
you mentioned about Ateneo, but were there any schools that recruited you, or was it just Ateneo? Did someone reach out to you even after that Coach Tab reached out to you?
All I know, it was just Ateneo, really. I didn't
Mhm.
personally. I didn't hear from any other schools.
Mhm. All right. And let's go to Kate Reyes naman for the next set of questions. Kate, go ahead.
Dwight, let's go to how you started playing basketball. Did you play any other sport prior to playing basketball, or it's just basketball all throughout?
When I was a little kid, my mom put us in swimming. We were on the swim team, me and my brother. We were swimming for a long time. It was just basketball and swimming. We would go back and forth. And then actually we started trying all the other sports in the summer. We would take summer camps like soccer, baseball. We tried all the other sports, but really the ones we fell in love with is just basketball and swimming in the summer. So we kept doing that. And then finally we just went to basketball full time.
Okay. Why? What piqued your interest into basketball? Which particular aspects did you like when you were younger?
I don't even know. It's just, I would go home, I would just drop my bags off and start going outside and playing basketball. And, like for Christmas, for my birthday, I would just ask for either a new basketball or new basketball shoes. And so it's just always been basketball for me since I was a little kid.
Okay. Growing up, did you have any basketball icons, NBA icons you wanted to be like? Parang ganun. To whom do you pattern your games to?
I think my biggest icon had to be Kobe. He was I'm in LA and a huge Lakers fan, and so as a kid, the playoff games we would always watch the Lakers play, and of course he was their best player, and he was just the star of LA, really, and so that was everybody's icon in Los Angeles.
Okay, thanks, Dwight.
Yep.
Dwight, in one of our previous episodes, I remember, di ba, Je, I think it was your dad. It was your dad commenting when we were talking about you.
Yes, tama, yung dad niya.
Yeah. Do you have a regular Filipino family back in LA or back home in the US? Like, do you eat Filipino food or anything like that?
My dad and his family, a lot of his families there were all in the same area, so we always had parties, like Christmas parties, parties for the Pacquiao fights. We always have parties, just random parties.
And full of I'm sure the buffet table is full of Filipino food.
Yeah, it's always so much food.
So, and how much did you know about the Philippines before coming over?
I actually didn't know too much. I just saw what I could see on YouTube, but I really didn't know too much about how the Philippines was, how it looked like here, and I just took it. My brother came here before I did, and so I just asked him what it was like, and I asked him how it was, and he said it was nice. It was a cool place, and so that's when we took our visit here, and I got to see it for myself.
Even Philippine basketball, you knew very little about Philippine basketball before coming over.
Yeah, I didn't know too much. Just really the national team, couple PBA games I could see, and yeah, I didn't really know too much about the college basketball scene here.
Last question, Dwight. A lot of people are also interested in your brother. Will you, if the UAP season comes around late in the year, you'll be playing together, right?
Yeah.
And how is he? Does he continue training? Is he continuing his training back home, or?
Yeah, he's been in California for a long time, so he's just been there training, doing his thing. Last time I went back home, I could see he made a lot of improvements since I last saw him. So he's over there working hard, and hopefully he'll be able to play sometime soon. I know he's been waiting a long time, just like me.
Who's better, right?
It's two different players, two different types of players.
Yeah,
we're really not the same.
You're a guard. Eli is what?
He's a guard too, but we're just I'm more of shooting. He's more of an attacker. So he's a lot faster than me, and so we're just different players, really.
Wow, excited to see you two at the same time on the court for Ateneo in the future.
I hope so.
Ben?
Right. You mentioned about you being close to the Nieto brothers, and Mike is kind of getting a lot of criticisms from fans. But from your end, what does the two brothers bring to the table for Gilas?
Yeah, I really don't understand the criticism of Mike. I mean, if anybody that watches the game, you can see how hard he plays. He makes the little plays. Like, sure, he's not out there with the ball making all these flashy plays like people like to see on there, but he plays tough defense. He rebounds the ball at his height. I mean, you can watch the Korea game. He's rebounding the ball over Ricardo Ratliff, and so those are little things that people might not recognize, but us as his teammates and stuff, we really recognize that, and it really helps us out. So I really don't understand the criticism of him. And Matt, Matt's really like a floor general. He's out there talking, he's leading us, and I miss him, having him in the bubble, like leading the team and playing against him with my 5 against his 5. It's just really, he really makes it out there, and so I really like playing with those two.
Right, going to Kai Soto. What's your initial impression of Kai when you first played with him, especially here with Gilas?
Yeah, I was really excited to play against Kai. I wanted to see for myself, like, because I played with the big men in the States, and he's been training over there, so I wanted to see how much he's improved, and he's really gotten a lot better. And I was really impressed with how he plays as a teammate. He learns the game really fast, and he plays. He's a very good passer as a big man, so I really think he has a lot of potential. And so him being so young, hopefully I could see him in the NBA sometime, but I really think he can do it.
But so far, Dwight, do you see him playing the NBA, Kai, based on what you've seen in the FIBA OQT and the FIBA Asia Cup?
I definitely think he can do it. He has all the right tools. His mind he has a really advanced mind for his age, and I really think he can do it sometime, given the opportunity. With a little bit more hard work and an opportunity, I really think he can do it.
All right. Let's go to our questions on Facebook. Maki Istal wants to know, how did it feel like when we were leading at the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter match versus Serbia, was it terrifying that we could win the match with Serbia as the top five ranked team in the FIBA? What's your feeling when Gilas was leading at that point?
The game was close the whole time. So I mean, we were excited the whole game. But as soon as we took that lead with 3 minutes, I really thought we were going to win that game, and I was really excited for them on the bench. They were really excited, and maybe that excitement and the nerves got to them at the end. And I think with a little more experience, we could have played a little bit more calmly, and we could have maybe taken that game in the future.
Yeah, we have a question from Angelo Dizon. Hey Dwight, which PBA player would you like to play with in the future? Any preferred team going into the PBA? That's from Angelo Dizon.
I mean, when I watched the PBA bubble, I was really impressed by Bobby Ray Parks, and so I wanted to play. If I had to play with, I want to play with him. And I really don't have a preference of team. I'm just, I just like playing basketball. So any team that takes me, I'll be happy to play for them.
Yeah. And going back to the FIBA Asia Cup, Gabriel Pasamba wants to know what came to your mind when during the first game against Korea, they imposed their physicality and you had back-to-back turnovers. What adjustments did you make?
Yeah, it was something new to me. I mean, everywhere I played, that's not not something I was used to. In the States, you get barely touched like this, it's already a foul. So it's just after those 2 turnovers, I was just thinking I gotta be a little bit more tight with the ball, be stronger with the ball, and so those are just the adjustments I made.
Alright, sa mga viewers natin, mag-comment lang po kayo sa ating YouTube channel and sa Facebook na rin. Magtanong lang po kayo na magtanong dyan at paano i-recognize po natin. Marami nagtatanong dito about love life ni Dwight But mamaya tanongin natin yan. Or gusto natin tanongin ni Randolph Dolph, go ahead.
Shishalala.
Oy, wag. Hindi, Dwight, we just need to give the people what they want because we're being spammed by questions about Kiana.
Sorry, Dwight.
Just have to ask.
It's a showbiz question, but can you just give the fans at least how has Kiana helped you throughout this process, especially during the pandemic when you were in the States, and then when you came back and trained with Gilas? Can you just share? Can you just give a glimpse on how that relationship have helped you in your adjustment here in the Philippines?
Yeah, she's helped me a lot with that. Throughout the whole pandemic, I was here by myself. My brother was already in the States, and so it was really nice having her here. And so I remember we were in the same situation, stuck in the house. And so she had her workouts. We would work out maybe at the same time, and so it just helped to have someone else motivate you even during the pandemic where you don't really know what's going to happen next. And so we were kind of in the same situation, and it kind of motivated each other there.
Obviously, volleyball fans here in the Philippines are very boisterous, very outspoken about their fandom. And obviously, Kian has her own sets of fans, and with your stint with Gilas, you've attracted a lot of believers too. How has she helped you in dealing with those, and what were the things that she told you when it comes to dealing with fans moving forward?
I'm not really. That's kind of dealing with the fans. Like I remember in CDO when there was a big crowd over there. I was just kind of surprised in there. I was shocked with everything that was coming at me, and she just kind of told me that that's how it is here in the Philippines. You got to get used to it, and so it's just she just kind of prepares me for all that type of stuff.
No, but I think you became big. You became a big name here during the pandemic. So I think you better brace for for wild fan reactions when it's all normal, whether it's the new normal or anything. I
Pandemic.
mean, I'm sure you haven't seen the worst of it, Dwight. No, no, don't.
Have you gotten used to people calling you Saint, Dwight?
I'm used to that already. I mean, there's already shirts about Saint Dwight. It's something that's stuck already with me.
No.
You should get your own shirts. It shouldn't be on the fans too. You should also get one.
I know.
Anyway, Sir Ben, ayun na muna.
But Dwight, how about being on YouTube with Kiana, Kim Di? How does it feel about being on YouTube with her?
The vlogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The vlogs are new to me. You know, like I'm not really that type to. I wouldn't make my own vlog probably. So I'm just over there a couple times in her vlogs and just doing my own thing. You know.
Yeah.
Dwight, we saw a video of you two. I think Kiana was setting you up for a dunk. Could you just tell the backstory about it?
I think that day was sometime during the pandemic. You know, we were just working out there. I think there was a volleyball there. I was just hitting the ball for her. You know, she could work on her thing, and then after I just told her to rebound for me. And so we just kind of helped each other there. And then after I was just dunking, and I told her to pass it to me like that. And then we just, all right, let's take a video of this real quick. And then that's just how it happened.
All right. Kate, go naman.
Dwight, can you tell us how you two meet? How you two met? How you met KKD?
I met her when I first came here to the Philippines. 30 is the one that actually introduced us together, and then I just met her. We exchanged Instagrams, and then sort of just went on with our business. It wasn't really anything, but then when I came here officially, that's when I started seeing her more often. I saw her at like different sporting events and stuff, and so then I started getting to know her and stuff, and then that's just how it happened.
Okay. You've spent a couple of months in the Philippines, or a year already. Were there any places that you wanted to visit? Like beaches? Do you like going to beaches?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest, I wanted to go to the beach already. Since I got to the Philippines, I wanted to go to all the different islands with my brother, but we always had training, we always had school, and then the pandemic, and so we just really never had a chance to do anything. So with all our time here in the Philippines, it's really just been school and basketball. We haven't gotten a chance to really go anywhere yet.
Okay. Here, questions about style, because we've been seeing that you're dressing up really well. So can you talk about your style? Who's your style icon? Which factors influence the way you dress?
I kind of just see things that on Instagram, like, oh, I like that. I just take little certain parts. A lot of times I like to wear stuff that's from LA, from Los Angeles. I like have more like a West Coast type of swag. That's just how my style, comes about.
Any NBA style icons, like Westbrook, JC, Kuzma?
I can't look at those NBA guys. They wear stuff that are just way too expensive. I'm a cheap guy. I'll go get my stuff at H&M.
Ilocano nga, Je. You're really Ilocano.
Tama. Sasabihin ko nga sa ano.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dwight. Sir Ben.
All right, let's go to questions on Facebook. Mark Villesa wants to know. This is kind of a hot topic here, Dwight. But in your opinion, do you think PBA players should be added as reinforcements in the FIBA Asia Cup and the FIBA World Cup. And what can you say about the possible inclusion of Jordan Clarkson in Gilas?
I think that's sort of like whatever the coach's decision with that one. But you know, I think you can pick when we're practicing all together. You just pick the players that fit the best, and so if the PBA players are there practicing with us and with the college guys, and you kind of just pick and choose which ones you need. And so if PBA player is the best for that spot, then take the PBA player. If the college player fits more well, then you take the college player. But I think it doesn't really matter where they're from, but you just take the best for that position, and so the best fit for the team. I think that's what matters.
How about the possibility of playing alongside Jordan Clarkson, Dwight? What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's super exciting to play with an NBA player, you know, and someone that's like that caliber of player on your team. You're really excited to play with someone like that. So if that's possible, it's something I think everyone's excited to happen.
Right. And Bobby Go wants to ask, which part of your game do you think needs improvement? That's the question from Bobby Go on Facebook.
I think my ball handling would have to improve. I'm a little bit of a bigger guard, and so at times, you know, playing against people a little bit smaller, it becomes a little bit harder for me to bring the ball up the floor. I really have to protect it, and so I think working on my ball handling and stuff that'll allow me to play point guard like Coach Tab wants it. So I think that's my biggest improvement going forward.
How comfortable are you with the thought that you'd be most likely be playing point guard for Gilas in the 2023 World Cup? How are you taking it?
I'm good with it. If I'm okay playing with point guard. Just being able to set up my teammates and stuff. That's something I like doing. I like really passing the ball. Making plays, setting up the play, and so it's something I take as a challenge also, because I know the point guard is pretty vocal, and so they have the role of bringing the team together, and so that's kind of my challenge, and Coach Tab challenge for me, and so I'm pretty excited for that to come.
Dwight, we have a question here. They want to know about Carl Tamayo. What's your impression about Carl? That question is from Denzel Villones.
Yeah, Carl. When I first played with Carl in the first bubble, he was one of the biggest competitors. I don't know if he I didn't really know too much about him, but he came out there and he wanted to guard me. He wanted to go against me, and so that's how I knew he really had that competitive spirit, and so I really liked that about him. And I think you can see that in the way he plays in the games, his fiery attitude and the way he plays. It's someone you really want on your team.
Right. And speaking of Carl Tamayo, of course we all remember that shot by SJ Belangel against Korea, but Coach Tab mentioned that it was really Carl Tamayo who was the first option. But Dwight, take us through to that moment when you were inbounding the ball and time was running out, and then you had to make a decision to pass to either Carl Tamayo or to someone. What was your thought process there?
Yeah, the play was originally for Carl going to the basket, but when I looked for him, he wasn't open. He wasn't really looking for the ball, and I think the defense is already there for him. So the only option I really had was to give it to SJ and hope for the best. So when I passed it to him, I just there was a couple seconds on the clock. I gave it to him. I was just waiting for him to put the ball up, and then it went in. But for me, I was already prepared to play overtime, and then it went in.
Right. Talking about SJ and another backcourt teammate of yours, RJ Barrientos, what can you say about their performance during the OQT, especially with you not playing there? What can you say about the two of them?
Yeah, I think those two, they really battled it out. It was just those two bringing the ball to the floor. I really wish I could have helped them out with that, but they really persevered through it, and playing 2 games against those two world class guards on those teams, it takes a wear on them, and so I'm pretty proud of them and the way they handled themselves there.
Alright, for our viewers, kung gusto niyo po mag-comment, and punta lang po kayo sa comment section, no, for those. Sir Jerry, ikaw naman.
Yes, Dwight, just some trivial questions here. Do you play volleyball, or does Kiana teach you or give you pointers about the game?
Nothing serious, she just tells me, like, hit it like this, and I'll just hit it. It's just only for her to practice. I'm not really looking to, like, learn or anything.
Or does Kiana play basketball, or do you teach her?
She doesn't really play basketball either, but I just tell her, like, if you can rebound for me, ask her to rebound for me. You just kind of just help each other out with those things.
Okay. About your moniker, the Saint, would you prefer other monikers than being called the Saint?
I don't prefer anything. I mean, I just, whatever people want to call me, I'm good with it.
So you're good being called the Saint, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You eat Ilocano food, Dwight?
I'm just a fan of food. I'll eat whatever, really.
Okay.
I'll eat anything.
You try bagnet? You know bagnet, or the Ilocano?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I eat both of them.
Uh-huh. And pakbet.
Yep.
Okay.
I had that a couple times in the States too. I had that.
Okay. One last question, Dwight. With your good looks, would you consider entering show business, or probably model product or anything?
That's not really my thing. I
Mm.
just came here to play basketball. And, the showbiz and stuff. That's not really me and my personality.
Even if the pay is good?
I'm more of a basketball player. I'm a basketball player. I don't know about that.
Okay. Thank you, Dwight. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dwight, let's go again to the questions of the fans. Let's go to YouTube. Gela229 wants to know, if the UAP doesn't start next year, would you start looking for opportunities overseas?
If it doesn't start next year, yeah, I maybe. I'm not really sure, because even if it doesn't start next year, I would still have another year to get my degree. So I really just have to weigh out different options. It's still up in there with all that.
All right. And Gelato has a follow-up question. Did you ever get to play against or with Kobe Paras in the US? What do you think of his style of play?
I never actually got to play. Actually, I played with Kobe in an All-Star game one time in the US. We played together. But, in an All-Star game, it's just sort of, have fun. You don't really judge each other. So, yeah, I never really got to play with him in the States. When I got here and we played together for the national team, that was the first time I really got to play with Kobe.
Right, and let's go to some of our questions on Facebook. Beverly Bucana wants to know about your tattoos. So what's the meaning of your tattoos, Dwight?
Most of my tattoos are just, things in my life. I just have my family members here. I have a tiger here because I was born of the year of the tiger.
Oh.
I got this, like, space space thing with the man here. So it's
Mhm.
like, a man shooting for the stars. We land on the moon. That's sort of the theme on that.
Dwight, I was born in the year of the rooster. Do I have to tattoo myself with the chicken?
You,
If you want a rooster, you can get it.
you tattoo yourself with Chicken Joy from Jollibee.
And then we have a question here from our former managing editor, Omar Bello. Who or what teams are you looking forward to playing against in the FIBA Asia Cup?
And I'm looking forward to playing against China, Korea, Japan, Iran. I really want to play against the top teams, Australia, New Zealand. I want to play against those top teams and see how we fare. And then so that, win or lose, we'll know where we stand with them and how much we have to improve going into the World Cup.
Yeah. Speaking of Korea, Dwight, we also saw a picture of you with the Korean team after your second game with the Korean national team. Of course, a lot have been said about that game, statements from the coaches, but how's the Korean team from your standpoint, Dwight?
With basketball, in terms of basketball,
and outside basketball as well. When you met them at the airport.
Yeah, when we met them at the hotel,
yeah.
I think we were all cool. We showed them a video of us, dancing to the BTS Dynamite song. So we showed them that. We kind of just had a good laugh there, and then we just took a picture with them, asked them questions about what's going on with them and their basketball. So on the court, we play hard, but then once we get off the court, everybody that plays basketball is usually good friends. Yeah, and in terms of basketball, they play us really tough every game. Both those games are really tough for us, and we won those games. And when we get back to the hotel, everything's good and fine usually.
But Dwight, that was life inside the bubble. How tough was it?
It's been so long. I've been in a bubble the whole past year really, with just little breaks in between. It gets really tiring. Like sometimes mentally, you never really feel rested because you're not at your home, and so it gets tiring being in a bubble. But that's just the way you have to do it nowadays.
Right. So you're prepared for another bubble because you're preparing again for the FIBA Asia Cup.
Yep, I got another bubble coming. Hopefully get a little bit of break and then go back in there.
All right. Down to our final few questions. Randolph, baka meron ka pa dyan.
May fast take yata si Randolph.
Fast take na.
All right. Sige.
Dito, I think 3 or 4. Yes. Yeah. Dwight, this is the segment of the show that is fast take. You need to answer very quick of the choices that we're gonna give. Okay.
Right.
This isn't really that hard of a question. Blue or green?
That's easy. That's blue.
You said earlier that you're rooting for the Suns. What's your finals prediction?
I got the Suns in 5.
Very bold. I got Suns in 6. What would you rather have? Your debut game for Gilas in Indonesia or the perfect game in Manama?
I'd rather have the debut game.
Why?
Because I was just so excited to play for the national team already, and the first game is always the best game,
Last 2 questions. There were additional. What's your go-to team in NBA 2K?
I actually don't play 2K. I play Call of Duty.
Okay. One last. Once you get out of the quarantine hotel, what would be the first thing that you will do?
I'm gonna go back to my condo and lay in my own bed for once. It's been so long.
Thank you, Dwight.
But Dwight, how good are you at Call of Duty? Rate it from 1 to 10.
I would rate myself at
What's your rank, Dwight?
4 or 5, mid level.
Alright. I think Sir Jerry may tanong pa, no? Sir Jerry.
Yeah, may past take ako, Ben. Pero Dwight, we're talking about the Koreans earlier. What's your take that a lot of people are saying you look like a Korean?
I was getting that from our teammates and coaches while we were in the bubble already when we were, preparing. When we were, they'll say, you have to, you look like the Koreans. You need to, when we were watching the BTS videos, I would be the, I look like them already. So,
yeah.
I've heard it already.
Did they doubt your loyalty during that Philippines-Korea game?
Maybe they're getting confused when they're passing the ball, but that's about it.
Okay, I have my past take, Dwight. Just a few questions here. Beer or wine?
Wine.
Wine. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Step or dame time?
Dame time.
You know balut?
Yeah.
Balut or one day chick?
Balut.
Okay, if you have for a roommate one of your coaches, who would you prefer? Coach Tab or Coach Alton Lister?
Maybe Coach Alton.
You will point at him. You will point at Coach Alton every day.
Yeah.
Then, thank you.
Alright. Kate, baka may tanong ka pa dyan bago tayo magtapos.
Wala, okay na, okay.
Okay. Sir Dodo.
Okay na. I'm good.
Alright, siguro...
Si Kate may tinatanong yata, Ben. Yung fast take.
One question, Dwight. Jollibee or McDo?
Jollibee. Their chicken's undefeated.
Dwight, let's accommodate a few more viewer questions here before we go. DS wants to know, what are your impressions of LeBron Lopez?
I think LeBron has a lot of potential. When we were practicing in the bubble, I can tell his mind's a little raw in terms of seeing the game. But as we were practicing, I could see he was really making improvements. So I know he has the potential in him, and of course his athletic ability is off the charts. So I think he has the potential to be really a real star.
All right, and just a hypothetical question, Dwight. Kind of a fast take question also. If an offer comes right now, if you're offered to play in Japan, what's your response?
Oh my God, that's tough. I really don't know what I would do.
All right.
I really don't know. I gotta think about it. I gotta talk to my parents and stuff. I can't even answer that right now.
All right, that's okay. Fair enough. But Dwight, we thank you for joining us here. I know you're a bit busy. Of course, you're resting there at your quarantine hotel. Thank you for giving us your time. Dwight, a message to your supporters, especially those Gilas fans who really supported your campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup and the FIBA OQT. This is your chance, Dwight.
Yep. I just want to thank all the fans for all their support and all the love that they showed our team. I hope we made you guys proud, made the country proud, and I'm really grateful for all our supporters, Boss MVP, and everybody making everything happen. And so I'm grateful for everybody really that supports our team and stuff. And we're just trying to make you guys proud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dwight Ramos. Dwight, maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Spin Zoom In. We hope to see you soon, and good luck in your campaign in the FIBA Asia Cup.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Alright, dyan na po nagtatapos ang ating Zoom In episode. Sa Tuesday po ulit, meron po tayong Spin POV every Tuesday po yan. And pag Thursday naman, Spin Zoom In. Okay, maraming po salamat sa ating mga viewers. Ang dami po nanood. Thank you for watching our episode. And of course, marami po yung mga mga sinabi po ni Dwight dito ay mababasa nyo rin po mamaya sa SPIN.PH. Follow nyo po kami sa Facebook, Twitter, IG, lahat na po. Sa Viber. I-like nyo na po yan. Subscribe na rin po kayo sa aming YouTube channel. Okay, in behalf of everyone sa SPIN.PH, I'm Ruben Terrado. At ito po ang Spin Zoom In.
Thank you. Thank you, Dwight. Thank you.
Bam.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game. For everything about life
Beyond the game.
Visit spin.ph/life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
For everything about life.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. Visit spin.ph/life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game, visit spin.ph/life.
Spin.ph/life.